Welcome to this mini but mighty leadership lesson. This is part two of a two-part series where I share some reflections, learning, and accomplishments from 2025. I'll put the link in the notes below to part one. I'd encourage you to watch it as well. In that episode, I focused on new things and experiences primarily related to my business and work. This week, I'm going to share a plethora of things, experiences that I had in my personal life. Again, this is for fun, the fun of sharing, and also to jolt your own memories about the things you experienced this year. What did you accomplish? What did you learn? Take a moment to reflect on, learn from, and appreciate those. This year I worked a lot and I traveled a lot. I also visited every single one of my siblings who all live in different states. I honed my art journaling hobby, which is relatively new, not more than 2 years old. I moved a bunch of stuff out of a closet so I could have a dedicated space to create. Art journaling can be a bit messy. I also took a ton of online courses to learn more about painting and collage. With my husband, I visited East Texas, Jefferson, and Caddo Lake. It was actually flooded, so we couldn't go out on a boat tour of the lake, but we had a lovely time touring that part of the state. It occurs to me that in addition to Caddo Lake, I did several things that had to do with lakes. I visited my stepson and his wife's new lake house in Granbury. I visited my sister at her lake house, and I paddleboarded. Well, it wasn't a lake, it was the Little Tennessee River. Nevertheless, it was a lot of fun. I listened to Amor Tolls talk about his books and writing. He's a great conversationalist. What a funny guy. We had some friends come to visit and went on a picnic at the El Barge Ranch. I had never visited that before. Caught up with friends in Cripple Creek, another place I hadn't visited, and rode a bunch of trains and accidentally, and I mean accidentally, went glamping. Not awful, but not really my cup of tea. I spent an enormous amount of time visiting and touring around New Hope, Pennsylvania, and Lambertville, New Jersey, two small towns connected by a bridge across the Delaware River. And I mean, I love that area. So quaint, so historic, lots of restaurants to enjoy, towpaths for exercise. I had fun driving around the curvy back roads in the Pennsylvania countryside, and not so much fun bemoaning the horrific traffic on I-95 around Philly. I joined a cohort, I mentioned this in last week's episode, for professional development. Through that program, I met a lot of new people and made some new friends. I spent time this year working on my intuition and spirituality. I read, listened to podcasts, meditated, attended a virtual retreat, and spent a lot of time staring at the stars and the moon in search of intuition and enlightenment. Less enlightening, certainly less fun. I crawled under the house multiple times to work on a router that wasn't actually broken. Nevertheless, that prompted us to take a road trip, a boondoggle to Santa Fe, which was one of my favorite trips this year. And back in Dallas on a random Saturday, we decided to visit Autonomous Society, a brewery in downtown, which is phenomenal and strangely was very empty that day. We also went to the Wild Horse Saloon in Durango and saw Wilder Blue, an amazing show in a really cool venue. I attempted to learn more about Reiki and tried my hand at Pilates for the first time. And to round the year out, we ventured out in the heat to the Texas State Fair. It's been a while for us since we've done that, but my sister, her husband, and their two girls came to visit, and so we had to show those outlaws from Tennessee what a real fair is like. It gives me great joy to think back about all these experiences, some of them more fun than others, but they were part of my life. They're part of my learning. And I encourage you to spend some time doing the same. Join us here at Boss at the Helm on Fridays for more mini but mighty leadership lessons. It's all about awareness, accountability, and leveling up. Lead yourself, then lead others. Be a boss.